Kato Mendes much.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Immigration. What changes, if any, is the government making to visa settings to support exploited migrants in response to the fourfold increase in migrant exploitation complaints over the last financial year?
The Honourable Erica Stanford.
Mr. Speaker, migrant exploitation is utterly unacceptable, and the most important thing the government can do to prevent exploitation is to limit the opportunity for it to occur. That's why in April, in response to the Bestwick review and the surge in complaints, this government made immediate changes to reduce the opportunity for unscrupulous actors to exploit migrants. This included introducing minimum English requirements and the relevant experience requirements for low-skilled roles. I also announced further changes last week to ensure migrants are not placed at further risk of exploitation by allowing them to remain in New Zealand for an extended period of time without employment.
Does she agree with the unanimous recommendations of the Migrant Exploitation Inquiry carried out last term, which received advice from immigration officials and National MP Erica Stanford participating in, advising the government at the time that the migrant exploitation protection visa should be extended beyond just 6 months?
Mr. Speaker, the advice that I've been given since I've become the Minister is that the migrant exploitation visa period of 12 months is too long to leave a migrant without work, especially without work for an accredited employer where we have oversight. They are in a difficult position that leaves them open for more exploitation. And the moves that we've made in the last week is to make sure that there is an acceptable and reasonable period of time for them to find employment. And if they do not have the skills and experience to find employment after 6 months, then it's time to leave New Zealand.
Supplementary.
Honourable Winston Peters.
Could the Minister confirm as to whether it's a fact that the greatest percentage of migrant exploitation is being exploited by their own, and that is the recent history of this country, sadly?
The Minister can attempt to answer it, but it's not strictly in the his responsibility.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, the advice that I've had is that migrant exploitation is undertaken by many people or many businesses in New Zealand. The most important thing that we can do is to make sure that we're limiting the time to a reasonable amount of time that someone can spend in the country on an open work visa, thereby limiting the amount of time that whoever is doing the exploiting is able to do that.
Why does the Minister blame the massive increase in exploitation claims on visa settings incentivizing offshore agents to offer fake jobs when her own cabinet paper acknowledges that would only be 150 people compared to the 3,925 migrant exploitation claims?
Mr. Speaker, if I understand the question correctly, there is a number of reasons why migrants get exploited. Some of them is because they are offshore and they are exploited by an offshore agent who is selling them a fake job. Some of them are exploited here by people in New Zealand who run businesses. The point of this visa change is to make sure that both of those problems are solved by making sure that the people who are here are working for an accredited employer, which means we have oversight, and that they're not here for an extended period of time being able to be exploited. It also means that there isn't a long period of time to be on an open work visa, which gives overseas agents more of a tool to sell exploitation because of an extended period of an open work visa.
Did you talk to any exploited migrants, unions, workers' rights advocates to substantiate those comments? Or is she making those statements based off vibes and without information from the ground?
Mr. Speaker, my officials undertake communications with a range of different peak bodies and migrants. I also have a peak body that I speak to who give me information about the levels and rates that people are being exploited. And I take that advice on board when I'm making changes, and I did in this case.